Now let's discuss another question from GATE 2020 set 1 of mechanical engineering. Now since the official key of GATE is not out yet till the point of recording the video, so whatever sources you have, different keys, answer, solution in different sources, all of them have incorrectly solved or answered this question. Alright, no place has correctly answered this question, not even single. The reason being that the language of the question is not properly understood by many of them. Look, the question says that consider two cases below. So question has clearly said that there are two cases, different cases, which we have to consider one by one. Okay. The first case, case 1 is that a company buys 1000 pieces per year of a certain part from vendor X. So there is a vendor X who sells some part, some product, and there is a company who buys those products, those parts from the vendor. And how many parts does it buy? 1000 pieces per year of a certain part. Okay. Then it says that the change over time is 2 hours. Now we'll come to this. What is this change over time? Because this is the first time in GATE that a question on change over time has been asked. Alright. So we will discuss in a moment that what exactly change over time is and how we can use it. Okay. So let's move ahead. Change over time is 2 hours and the price is rupees 10 per piece. So it is having 1000 pieces. It is selling 1000 pieces to the company, this vendor X, and per piece price is rupees 10 and change over time is 2 overall. The holding cost rate per part is 10% per year. Alright, this is also something which we know from the different inventory models, that what exactly it means. I have also told this to you earlier that why holding cost is a percentage of the total purchase cost of that piece, of that part, right? So same thing is written here, that it is 10% per year means 10% per year of the price of a single part. Alright, we will discuss that later. So this is case 1. The case 1 ends here. And now we begin the case 2. So case 2 is a different scenario. What happens in case 2? For the same part, another vendor Y offers a design where change over time is 6 minutes. So in the second scenario, what is happening? The company still needs to buy the part. And now a new vendor came, vendor Y. And vendor Y said that I have a better design of the piece, and due to the change in design, the change over time is 6 minutes now. Now we will discuss about change over time, that how it changed. Okay, so change over time is 6 minutes now. Okay, with a price of rupees 5 per piece. So what product, what piece vendor Y is making, he is able to sell it with a price of rupees 5 per piece and a holding cost rate per part of 100% per year. Okay, so till now what has happened? In first case, 1000 pieces company was having from vendor X. It was having certain parameters, certain prices, etc. In case 2, a new vendor came, vendor Y, who is offering the same part but with a subtle different design. And due to the change in design, some of these costs like holding cost and the change over time, those things changed. Okay, but at this point we don't know how much order the company has given to the vendor Y, and that is what it tells in the next line. It says that the order size is 800 piece per year from X and 200 piece per year from Y. So in the first case, whole 1000 pieces were being ordered from vendor X, but in case 2, 800 of them are being ordered from vendor X and rest 200 are ordered from Y. So total 800 plus 200 are still 1000. So in first case, you are ordering 1000 pieces from vendor X. In the second case, you are ordering 800 of those 1000 from X and 200 of those 1000 from Y. These are the two different cases. This you need to understand because nowhere else you are going to get this. Okay. Now, It says that assume the cost of downtime is rupees 200 per hour. Now again, cost of downtime is a new term. This change over time and cost of downtime, these are new terms. So when we will discussing the solution, I will tell you about them, what those are. Okay. So assume the cost of downtime as rupees 200 per hour. Now it is asking you the percentage reduction in the annual cost for case 2 as compared to case 1 is how much. Okay. So in this case, you have to compare the total annual cost of case 1 with the annual cost of case 2 and then tell that how much reduction has occurred in the annual cost for case 2 as compared to case 1. Now, when it is asking you the annual cost, what does it mean? Does it include the purchase cost or not? It does. Whenever it is asking you the inventory cost or variable cost, those costs solely consider the holding cost and ordering cost, right? But when it says about total annual cost or annual cost, then annual cost include the purchase cost as well, in how much amount you are purchasing the product. So that will also be considered. Now let's start solving this question. So as given in the question, for case 1, the total demand is 1000. The cost of a single piece is rupees 10. And as I have already covered in course and the earlier videos that the holding cost is represented or carrying cost is represented as a percentage of the unit cost. So here it was represented as 10% of unit cost, which is rupees 10. So this will cancel out. 10 multiplied by 10 divided by 100 will be 1. And this is, what is the unit of this? Rupees 1 per piece per year. Alright. Now, if you want to find out the annual cost, what are the three components of it generally? Purchase cost, holding cost or carrying cost, and ordering cost. Correct. Purchased cost is total number of items multiplied by cost of each item. The total amount you spend in holding or carrying that particular inventory is average inventory multiplied by the carrying cost per piece per year. So average inventory is 1000 divided by 2. We are not considering that we have different orders placed. If you look at case 1 or even case 2, you will see that it nowhere mentioned that you have to place different orders. Okay. That is why what we are going to do right now is we will consider that there was only one order placed. But is it necessary? No. And what if there were multiple orders placed? Obviously answer will change. So that I am going to discuss by the end of this video. That is why make sure to watch the complete video. Okay. So this approach that I am discussing right now is not the only approach that I will discuss in this video. I will also discuss whether the gate can, which approach gate can decide to have, and whether you can challenge this question or not. Everything I am going to cover in this video. Okay. So in this approach, what we are considering, that only one order was placed. Since question has nowhere mentioned that or nowhere hinted that multiple orders are placed. Alright. So if one order is placed, so in one go it will go up to 1000 and the triangle will be made. So average will be 1000 divided by 2. Correct. So D by 2 and D is going to be 1000 here. Multiplied by CH. Plus what comes next? Ordering cost. Right. But again, we are not placing multiple orders here and nothing has been given. Ordering cost is not given to you. Right. But a new cost is given. Ordering cost was not given, but the cost of downtime was given. If you look at the question, after case 1 and case 2, it mentions the cost of downtime is rupees 200 per hour. And for each of the cases, it gave different times, different changeover times. For case 1, it gave 2 hours. For case 2, it gave 6 minutes. Now let's understand what these are. Look, if an industry is running and they are buying some product from some vendor and vendor is supplying some part to them, some pieces to them, and then they are processing those pieces into their system, into their machineries. Alright. So we know that a setup is to be done whenever some processing is to be done on the machines. Right? You need to set up your machines, your coolant, your lubricants and all the other manpower, everything you need to arrange according to the part which is to be handled or machined into your system, right? And we discussed that in the setup cost. Setup cost we have discussed in the different inventory models. But whenever setup is happening or whenever a new part is coming, it will involve the haltage of the ongoing process if you want to change your processing. Now listen to this line carefully. I am rephrasing this line. Suppose a part is coming, all right, and you are just starting the industry for the first time. So what you need to do? You need to do the setup of your specific machines according to the part that you need to handle, correct? If the part doesn't change, then those settings do not need to be changed. Those machineries or whatever setting there might be, those need not change because the part that you are buying is not changing, correct? But suppose one day you decided that I will buy a new type of part to be used, then what will happen? If in the same machineries, you have the same machineries, you want to process a new type of part, then certain changes need to be made in the machineries in order to process that part. So again you need to set up it according to the new part which has come to you, correct? That cost related with changing, changing the whole setting and of your processing, if a new part or a new design you are processing, that is considered, that cost is going to be considered in the cost of downtime. Basically, as the name suggests, downtime means that time when the system is down, when it is not producing something. And when it is not producing something, when in this case it is making some changes in the settings of the machine. For the case 1, only one type of piece is coming. Vendor X is providing one type of piece, so there need not multiple changes in the in the machine settings. Only once you need to set it up for the piece that vendor X is giving. But for the case 2, you have to set it up for X as well as for set it up for the part which Y is giving. So in that case both of them will be coming. But here you need to only set it up for a single type of piece given by vendor X. So just like ordering cost, obviously it is not ordering cost, but it is similar to ordering cost and it is treated similar to ordering cost. Even EOQ can be calculated using the cost that we are going to see. Using this cost of downtime. We will see how we are going to calculate it. So it is having a similar status as ordering cost when it comes to numericals. But if you want to look at it from understanding point of view, then you can understand it like setup cost. Okay. Now you can see that the cost of downtime is given per unit time. That for every hour that you are not producing, you are losing some money. It is costing you something, and that cost is rupees 200. And for case 1, means for the part which vendor X gives, the changeover time is 2 hours. So it needs 2 hours to set up the machines in order to process the part given by X. And if you recall, in case 2, the changeover time for the part given by Y was 6 minutes. Means only 6 minutes were needed to down the system in order to prepare it to process the part Y. You got that? So in this case, how much will be the cost that you have to incur? The total cost per hour that you have to incur multiplied by how many hours you have to down the system, down the production in order to set it up to process the part. So you simply have to multiply them. The unit will automatically come as rupees. That also is a way to understand it. Alright, so it is 200 multiplied by 2. Okay, but let me be very clear here that there is one more factor which actually comes here. We are not considering that factor because we are considering only one order. I will come to that what factor can come here. We will discuss that in the next approach of the same question. Okay, so this is what we have here. Now you need to solve it. You need to put the values. It is 1000 multiplied by 10, which is 10,000, plus d by 2, it is 500, 1000 by 2 multiplied by ch is 1, plus it is 400, so it is going to come rupees 10,900. 10,900. Correct? Similarly, for the case 2, the value of d, we were having two value of d's. Dx for the part x was 800, correct? and dy was 200. The cost of x was rupees 10, same as this one, but cost of y is rupees 5. Holding cost is rupees 1. For x we know it already, but holding cost, if you recall, if you see the question, holding cost for the part given by vendor y was 100% of the unit cost. Unit cost is rupees 5. The holding cost is going to be rupees 5. Okay, and for this case, change over time is equal to 6 minutes. Now what you need to do? You can carry on the calculation. In this annual cost, multiply dx with cx plus dx by 2 multiplied by ch for x for y plus 200 multiplied by 2. This is the cost for part x. To set up the part x, how much amount you need to spend. To set up the machines for part x, how much amount you need to spend, that we have added here, plus dy cy plus dy by 2 multiplied by chy plus for y part, how much amount you need to spend, 200 per unit time per hour, and change over time for this part is only 6 minutes, so 6 by 60 hours. Now if we put all the values that I have written here into the expression that I wrote, you will get the total annual cost for case 2 as rupees 10,320, which has reduced from the annual cost of case 1, which was 10,900. And how much is the percentage reduction? Initial 10,900 minus 10,320 divided by 10,900, initial one, correct? And multiply that with 100. So ultimately you will get answer 5.32, and the answer has been rounded up to 2 decimal places as the question asked. Now this is the correct answer of this question if we consider that whatever order was to be placed was placed in a single order and we are not having multiple orders of it, right? Now let's discuss a few things about this question. Look, there are 2 different ways in which we can approach this question. This is the one way in which I have approached this, where EOQ is not considered. Okay, now I know EOQ at this point will sound very strange to you because ordering cost is not present, but EOQ is calculated for downtime cost as well. All these details will be covered in the course and they are not as such required for this question, at least not for this approach. That is why I am not explaining all those things here. But there is one more way which will give you a different answer if you consider that we are placing multiple orders of EOQ. Because here I told that we consider that we are just placing single order of 1000 or of the other quantities as well. But if we are placing economic order quantity, then the approach will slightly change. Answer will also slightly change. Okay, answer will become 8 point something if we consider the EOQ. So I am not explaining that approach because point number 1, the question has not mentioned economic term or minimum term or obviously EOQ term anywhere, all right, or optimum term anywhere. So we are not going into the EOQ approach, which I have not taught you in this video, which will be covered in the course. But if suppose gate releases its answer key and answer key considers EOQ, then in my view you can rightfully challenge the question because question has not specifically mentioned anything regarding cost calculation for optimum case or for minimum case or for EOQ. But what are the chances of your challenge being accepted? That I cannot say because last year in GATE 2019 there were some questions which were having solid proof of being challenged and marks being awarded to all, but still IIT did not change its key. So challenging, I can tell you that which questions you can challenge, but which questions gate is going to consider, that can only be told by the gate authorities only. All right. So what we are going to conclude from this question is that the answer of this question, considering that only one order is placed and everything that we have to procure or buy, we have bought in one order, then the answer is going to be 5.32. But if we consider multiple orders, then obviously EOQ is the only option. We can calculate the EOQ and calculate the final answer also. That will come, as I told you, 8 point something. But I personally feel that the question is not considering, not asking the EOQ case. That is why I have not solved the EOQ case for you. All right.